So, a few years ago in the US, in a national park, a couple of hikers got lost and they didn't know how to get a message back. Their phones had no signal. And anyway, they hadn't gone back and returned home when people thought they were going to, so the alarm was raised. And so the search and rescue teams were released. Now, one of the very smart things that these particular hikers did was they got themselves to an elevated position onto a rocky outcrop, knowing that if there were any helicopters around, they would be able to wave at them and they should be able to see them. But it wasn't a helicopter that saw them. The search and rescue team had started trialling the use of drones, a lot cheaper and faster to deploy than a traditional helicopter, and they were able to rescue them. They were able to see them on this rocky outcrop, and they got their teams to them incredibly quickly. It was the first time in the world that anybody who'd gone missing had been saved by someone using a drone to look for them. Here in Australia, we have life-saving drones that are actually being operated around our beaches, where lifesavers are looking for people who are in trouble in the sea. And one of the things they can do is actually drop a pod, a marine rescue pod. And in that pod, there is a device that sort of expands with air and is now a flotation device. There's also an EPIRB, which is a device that's connected to the satellites that will allow people to know where you are. So all life rafts, for example, have EPIRBs on board, and most boats and vessels have EPIRBs on them too. And so the very first live surf rescue mission also took place here in Australia a couple of years ago in northern New South Wales, where a couple of lads had gone to the beach just after the lifesavers had all finished up for the day, and they got caught in what we call a riptide, and they were being pulled out to sea. The waves were battering them and they got exhausted pretty quickly. Now, luckily, someone was trialling a drone nearby, and they were able to go and release the marine rescue pod and call the surf lifesavers to get out and rescue them. So there we have it. People have already been rescued by using drones. We have here in Australia a number of people who get lost in our national parks every year. And Australia is the size of the continental US, with a population of 25 million people. And so we have very large national parks and very large spaces where people can accidentally get lost. And so having drones is a way in which we can actually start looking at search and rescue grid patterns in a very effective and quick way without having to call in the helicopters, without having to worry about refueling helicopters. We can just call in the drones and send out the drones and look for people. So these things have already worked. Isn't it great? Can you imagine though if you were actually walking out with your drone and you got lost, and this has also happened, you could actually write a note saying where you are with your GPS coordinates, attach it to your drone, and then fly it looking for someone else who can help you. Somebody self-rescued by doing exactly that. They'd gotten lost. They weren't sure where the path was that they were supposed to get back onto. They had one battery left for their drone. They had one chance to tell people where they were. It sounds like something out of a Hollywood movie, but it worked and they were rescued. So next time you just think of drones as being a frivolous toy, they actually do save lives. And do you travel with a drone? Do you have one with you when you go for walks? It might be worth considering.